Well, hello and welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the next Olly's Farm vehicle for 2021. At the moment the farm's currently de-thawing. We've managed to get just over 1 Celsius now, and tomorrow the weather forecast is saying we're going to be up to 11 Celsius, which means that all of the snow and the ice which is going to start to melt, which means before long we can get back onto the land, we can carry out the cultivating, the muck spreading, and of course the bale carting. Now, going back to a previous video, which was Olly's Farm at the news last week, I touched briefly on a pickup truck which a lot of you guys had said to have a look at, which was the Toyota Hilux. I try to enable you guys to have some input into what I do with Olly's Farm and what I do with the channel, and sometimes that can be purchasing equipment such as machinery, and in this case today it's the farm vehicle. Now at the moment I've got the Volkswagen Up GTI, which is a great little car, but as the weather has recently proven, and also living and working on the farm is showing, it's not really the most practical car on the farm. So I've had lots of messages about the Toyota Hilux with a pickup truck, and also the all-new Land Rover Defender. It's really coming down to 50-50 now. I haven't driven the new Land Rover Defender, and I haven't even seen one in person yet. But one thing I have touched on is looking at the pricing of them. They do look quite expensive compared to what they used to be back in the day. I suppose that's just inflation, that's just part of what's going on in the world. Things are becoming much more expensive now, and if it was something I was to purchase, I'd like to keep it for a good while, so reliability is quite important to me. And if you could help me out with today's video and give it a thumbs up, I would really appreciate that. Thank you for your continued support in these difficult times. So this is just where I've been starting to look here at the new Land Rover Defender. So the Land Rover Defender, the new model, is very different to the previous generation. Land Rovers have always been an iconic British vehicle. It's something which you look at and it's instantly recognisable, and that's something which they've really tried to capture with this new model, and I must say, in the right spec and the right colour, I think they do look really good. If we just look at the larger 110 model, and again I think it looks quite good looking. It's not perhaps as iconic, I don't think, as the previous Defender. I think in a black colour the 110 would look really good if you had it in a gloss black with black wheels and with a black grille. I think that would really suit Olly's Farm, and it would suit the brand with the Olly's Farm lettering down the side. And now with Land Rover being the way they are these days, there's so many different models to choose from. So we've got the Defender First Edition, the Defender X Dynamic, the Defender X, the Defender Hardtop, the Defender Plug-in Hybrid. There's so many different variations. I must say the Defender X is a very good looking Defender, but I believe the Defender X is very expensive. So if you go on to build your own, just to get a rough idea of how much this would cost, this is something which I'm not too sure about yet with the Defender. It seems to be a lot of money for a vehicle which is going to be a work vehicle. Ideally you want the best of both worlds, and that's why I've also as well here been looking at the latest Toyota Hilux. So the Toyota Hilux, this is the Invincible X we're looking at. So this is a top of the range double cab pickup from Toyota. It's got a fuel economy of 31. 32. It's never going to be the best miles per gallon in the world, but 30, to be fair, is much better than, at 20 or the low teens. And it's starting here from £39,675. Now, I believe that's including the VAT. So as a farmer working in the farming industry, the VAT can be claimed back because it's going to be used for farming, and that is something to consider. And actually, as you come down and look at the more basic models, we are seeing prices in the higher 20s and the lower 30s, which actually I think is a lot better. And I have been speaking to Toyota UK about a demonstrator, which is quite exciting. So we're going to demonstrate the Toyota pickup, the Hilux, against the Land Rover Defender. The Land Rover Defender won't be coming onto the farm until the lockdown has been lifted, but once the lockdown's lifted, we're going to be getting either a 90 or a 110 to compare against the Toyota Hilux, which I'm really excited about because I've wanted to drive the new Defender ever since it came out, but COVID hasn't really helped that, and it's made things very difficult. Very difficult dilemma choosing between the Toyota Hilux or the Land Rover Defender. Something I have noticed with a sort of lower spec Land Rover Defender, which would cost north of £50,000, is that you don't get basic things like leather seats. They're just cloth seats, which for a car which would cost over £50,000, you would at least like some leather seats. And actually, something with the Toyota Hilux is that you get leather seats on the top of the range Invincible X, which would cost from mid to high 30s, which isn't too bad. It's actually £10,000 less than the Land Rover Defender, which wouldn't have leather seats. Something else as well about a Toyota Hilux is that they're a Japanese-made car, so they're very reliable. They're known to be very rugged. As the original trio from Top Gear tested them, Clarkson, Hammond and May, they tried to break and destroy an early Hilux, and they couldn't do it. It kept living, it kept going on. And then, of course, after that, Jeremy Clarkson took a brand new top-of-the-range Toyota Hilux up to Antarctica, and they drove to the North Pole, which was quite incredible considering that they were driving across snow boulders, snow terrain, deep snow, ice, glaciers. I mean, it was pretty incredible. And something I've always found in my lifetime with the Toyotas against Land Rover is that whenever I speak to a farmer, if it's a farmer from the UK or if it's a farmer from elsewhere, I've spoken to farmers in Australia, a farmer from the UK will say, oh, you need to buy a Land Rover, they're a very good, reliable, rugged car. And then if you speak to somebody from Australia, the Australian farmer will tell you, you go into the outback in a Land Rover and you come back in a Toyota Hilux. And that's no offence to Land Rover owners, but that's always been something I've heard. And I think part of that is down to Toyota themselves, in that they are very adamant on building something which is going to be very dependable for the consumer, very reliable. The Japanese are known for being particular on their engineering. They want to make the best possible engine. They want to make the best possible pickup truck. The way they go about things is completely different to how we would do it here in the Western world. And I think that's probably, part of the Toyota Hilux's success. And if you go anywhere in the world, there's always Toyota Hiluxes. Notoriously, Toyota Hiluxes end up in deserts in the middle of nowhere. So we're always seeing on the news in war zones, there's always Toyotas around. Why do they buy Toyotas? Because they're rugged, they can smash them up and they'll still go on. You can have a Toyota in the middle of nowhere. As long as you change the oil and get it serviced, it's just so easy to keep and look after. It's not so much of a problem for myself being on the farm because there's always a dealership nearby if I was to buy a Land Rover, but it is nice to know that if I was down in the marshes at the Norfolk Broads National Park, or if I was out in a field pulling something out, for example, or towing a trailer, it's nice to know that you've got that dependability, and I think that comes in a way above all else. The biggest thing I really would like with with the farm vehicle is something which is comfortable on the farm and both off the farm, something I can use for work, so it can be thrown around, it can be beaten up, it can be going over off-road terrain, I can chuck my tools in the back and I can chuck Clover in the back. But then also, if I have to go somewhere, to go to a show with Olly's farm, or I have to go and visit somewhere, I want it to be good on the road, on the motorway. That's really important. And something the new Toyota Hilux is offering is it's offering a halfway house, bringing the Toyota Hiluxes more into a sort of usable family vehicle, which is quite a nice thing to sort of have really with a pickup truck. And it would be nice to have that versatility, and also having the bed on the back of the pickup truck is quite a nice option because you can put a couple of bales on there, you can put some things on and you can strap them down. Whereas with a Defender, you're limited to the confined space in the back of the vehicle, in the box if you like. So, but the only way I'm going to find out is if I demo both vehicles, and then I'll be able to make my decision. But these are the two vehicles which I've narrowed down. Thank you very much for all of your comments, and leave a comment in the comments section down below which one you would like to see on the farm, because I'd love to hear your feedback on this, because this is the narrowing down now of the next farm vehicle for Olly's farm. So I do need something a lot more practical and a lot more usable for farming. And then later on as well, Clover's got a new friend who's going to be joining her, which is going to be a chocolate Cocker Spaniel. Once I find a breeder and once I find a puppy which is for sale. Later on, as the lockdown begins to lift. And then machinery-wise, there's all sorts of different machines coming this year, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know. I did have some comments the other day about the muck spreading, and that now is actually a good time to spread muck when the land is frozen, because you don't get any, or you get reduced compaction. What I like to do every year with the muck spreading is cultivate the field once it's been spread, and unfortunately with the soil and the land being frozen, I can't cultivate it after I spread it. So on the farm we need to get it cultivated in, and we need to incorporate the muck into the soil. That's something which is very important. So I've got to go and take Clover for a walk now, and I've just got to go and check the calves. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will catch you on the next one.